planning, seaming, and adding a border are all essential parts of finishing a granny square project. While I was completing my Charming Marshmallow Blanket, I discovered a few tips and tricks to make the steps of this process a little bit better. So come along with me today and we'll put together my magically delicious blanket, and I know you'll find it helpful whether you're crocheting this or any other granny square blanket. Let's get started with figuring out the layout of our squares. I like to lay everything out before I commit to seaming, just to be sure. In the Charming Marshmallow Blanket, I had 8 different square types to position, and I had to decide what order to put them in rows and columns. Now, if you recall the old jingle from the 90s, I had hearts, stars, horseshoes, clovers and blue moons, pots of gold and rainbows, and red balloons, which I will refer to from now on as jingle order. So you don't have to hear me say it again, and because it came up a lot during this stage in the blanket project. I knew I wanted to incorporate it into the project, but everything perfectly aligned just didn't feel right. When you pour your cereal into a bowl, all the marshmallows are kind of jumbled up, right? So I played with the jingle order a bit and decided that this somewhat randomized pattern was the most in the spirit of a bowl of Lucky Charms. Each row is in jingle order, just starting with a different square each time. If you're following along with this pattern, I provided a chart and all the info you could need linked down below. Now, once you've got your square layout chosen, you can start to think about seaming. There are many ways to seam squares together. Feel free to use your favorite, but for me, I wanted a crocheted seam as opposed to a sewn seam with a needle, and I wanted one that was as flat and solid as possible. So today, I will demonstrate the back loop slip stitch seam. We'll do a vertical seam between each column of squares, and then horizontal seams between each row of squares. I started with my vertical seams, beginning with the top 2 squares in the corner, my left, the blanket's right, and we'll fasten on by inserting your hook down into the first chain of the corner chain 2 space on either square, and pull up a new yarn for seaming. Then insert your hook down into the second chain of the chain 2 space on either square, making sure to keep your yarn in the back of your squares. Slip stitch those chains together. Now, there's a common pitfall of the slip stitch seam, namely that your seam will kind of favor one side of your work depending on which square's back loop you worked into first. So, over the course of making this blanket, I realized that alternating which square I worked into first eliminates this problem, and it gives a flatter, more even seam. So that's what you'll see me do right now. On the last slip stitch, we worked into the heart square first. So on this slip stitch, I'll insert into the next back loop on the star square first. Then down into the back loop of the heart square, yarn in back and slip stitch. Alternating still, I'll work into the heart square first this time, then the star, continuing to slip stitch down into those back loops. Since each of these squares will have 15 stitches on any given side, we can just seam 1 for 1. Now I want to show you a little trick for keeping up with the alternating idea that I just gave you, because honestly, I was losing track of which square I seamed into first, like constantly throughout the blanket. So to check, you can look at the inside of the seam between your squares, and you'll see the respective back loops kind of crisscrossing here. And fortunately, you can distinctly see which back loop is on top of the crisscross. The top one is the one you worked into first. So the bottom loop of the crisscross indicates which square you'll work into first next. Here, the heart square's loop was on the bottom, so we will insert into that square first for the next slip stitch. For adding squares, I found it helpful to lay out what I had so far so that I could make sure everything was oriented correctly. The joining of new squares happens when you've worked into the first chains of the chain 2 spaces of your old squares. To add new squares, I will first insert my hook into the second chain on either square, and then bringing in my new squares by inserting down into the first chain on square 1 and the first chain on new square 2. You'll have 5 loops on your hook. Go ahead and yarn over and slip stitch through all of those loops. And now our squares are joined at the corners. You can continue your vertical seam by joining the second chains of each of the new squares, and just keep on slipping. Yarn in back, alternating which square to work into first. Starting a new column is a lot like how we started out initially with our first 2 squares. You'll attach a new yarn at the first corner chains of those top 2 squares that you're joining. One on your growing blanket and one loose new square. Then you're again ready to start your slip stitch seam by working into either second chain and the back loops of each available stitch with my little alternating trick. Once you've got your vertical seams, we can move on to horizontal seams, which are virtually the same thing. That is, until you get to the corners. As you recall, our vertical seams used up all of our chain stitches, so you don't need to work into any chain corners here. We'll just go across the vertical seam by working an extra slip stitch, pulling up a loop from the either side of the seam, kind of like surface crochet. Now, sometimes I noticed that this crossover stitch was slightly longer than I'd like. Not every time, but sometimes. So when that happened, I would just undo it and pop an extra slip stitch right before the vertical seam, surface crochet style. Then the stitch that crossed over the seam was the same length as all the others. And since the chains are already spoken for, you can just work right into the first stitch of each of the next squares. And that's how the horizontal seams are done. With all the seaming done, our gorgeous blanket just needs a border, and I decided to go with a block stitch border, featuring tiny pops of the rainbow marshmallows colors, and I think it suited the blanket quite well. But before we start that border, we're going to do a little setup border because the edge of our blanket has a bit of this scalloped effect, which is totally normal for granny square blankets and fortunately very easy to deal with. So you can do this half double crochet setup border before working any border on a granny square blanket. We're going to attach a new border color yarn. Go ahead and insert into that top corner stitch to fasten on. I like to chain 1. And then just work 1 half double crochet right into that stitch. Into this and all other corner chain 2 spaces, work 2 half double crochets, chain 2, 2 half double crochet. Then work 1 half double crochet in each available stitch. When you work into the last stitch before a seam, we're going to bridge that little seam-induced dip in the fabric by working double crochet 3 together, a decrease. Let me show you how. Yarn over and insert into the next chain space. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, but don't complete that double crochet. Instead, yarn over and work right into the seam edge. Pull up a loop, and pull through 2. 3 loops on the hook, again yarn over and insert into the next chain space. Pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. With 4 loops on the hook, you're ready to yarn over and pull through all 4 loops to complete a double crochet 3 together across that awkward little spot, which gives the perfect height and volume that we need to fill the gap. Then it's simply a matter of continuing to half double crochet into each available stitch. I'll show you that double crochet 3 together maneuver one more time. And when you've worked all the way around, simply slip stitch into the first half double crochet to complete your setup border round. And now we're ready to add our first color of the block stitch border. I decided to emulate the rainbow marshmallow by starting with the pink color. This round will set up a little scaffold of chains that we can work our block stitches onto. So go ahead and pull through the last loop, but leave the border color attached. We'll work right into the third half double crochet from the corner with 1 single crochet. Chain 2, skip 2 stitches, and we're already ready to demonstrate what we do at our chain 2 corners. Into this in each corner, we'll pop 1 single crochet, chain 2, and work another single crochet into the chain space to make a corner. Chain 2 and skip the next 2 half double crochets. Work 1 single crochet in the third stitch. Chain 2, skip 2, 1 single crochet in the next stitch. Continue chain 2, skip 2, 1 single crochet across all stitches up to the next corner. And try to be mindful of those chain stitches. Sometimes we can crochet chains tighter than other stitches, and so you might see it bunch up. So be sure to chain loosely and periodically check that your border is laying flat. Also, as you work across, you may find that you're 1 stitch short. Like here, I only have 1 stitch remaining before my corner. That's another reason why I chose this border. It's very forgiving and can work on all sorts of stitch counts. So you can absolutely chain 2, skip that 1 stitch, and just work into the corner. The rest of the border will turn out totally fine. Continue on, chain 2, skip 2, single crochet. When you've worked all the way around, slip stitch to the top of your first single crochet to complete this round. You can fasten off that pink color. We'll pull up the border color that we left attached previously, and what you'll do is insert your hook under the chain 2 space closest to your yarn, pull up a loop through there and chain 3. This counts as 1 double crochet, and work another 2 double crochet into the chain space. To create your first 3 double crochet block. Some block stitch patterns chain between, but I decided to not put chains between my blocks for this border, so we'll just go right into that corner chain 2 space with another set of 3 double crochets. And since we are in the corner, you'll chain 2 and work another 3 double crochet block into the same chain space. And there's a corner for your block rows. Next, you can continue on, working 3 double crochet in each chain 2 space, all the way across to the next corner. And I actually got excited and worked ahead last night. So the yellow row is already done here, but I can show you how we finish a block round and add a new color here. When you work back around to your starting chain 3, you can just slip stitch to the top of the chain 3 to complete the block round. I have a slightly special way of doing this part now, so I'll link to a quick little video that explains why I slip stitch into the top of my turning chains this way. So to add a new color to the block stitch, I'm actually going to pull this border loop long because it's not exactly in the spot that I want to work into. I'm going to insert my hook into the first stitch of this corner block here. You could also insert between the last 2 blocks, and that's where I'll pull up a new color. Complete a single crochet and chain 2. Skip the block below and work 1 single crochet into the corner. Chain 2 and pop another single crochet into the corner. Now it's easier than when we did the pink row because we don't actually need to count stitches. We just let the blocks show us where we put the yarn next. Skip the block below and insert your hook between 3 double crochet blocks. Work 1 single crochet. Continue like this, adding scaffold chains and blocks until your border is as wide as you'd like. I did 7 border rounds and then added 2 more in just the white color because I liked the balance it gave. Feel free to use whatever color combos speak to you. And just like that, we've planned, seamed, and finished our beautiful granny square blanket. I hope you found this video helpful and inspiring. If you're interested in the Charming Marshmallow Blanket pattern, I'll have links to tutorials for all the squares and where you can find written instructions linked in the description of the video and in the comments. If you've stayed to the end of the video, you get to see me address the elephant in the room, that very last little upside-down horseshoe. That was, in fact, a boo-boo, an accident, not intentional. But I realized it way too late, and I thought about figuring out how to fix it, but about 1,400 of you on TikTok told me to leave it. So that one's there for good luck, let's say. And I hope you have good luck in whatever you crochet next. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!